Hello, this is Connie Belden, and in this video we're going to talk about variable cost, fixed cost, and also take a look at differential, sunk, and opportunity cost. Let's start with variable and fixed cost. Let's assume that Tea Express has weekly fixed expenses of $600 and the variable cost of a cup of tea is 11 cents. So the fixed costs would include things that do not change no matter how many cups of tea you sell. For example, that could be the rent on the building. It would be the same amount no matter if you sold 1,000 cups of tea. So the fixed cost would be $600 at that level. If you sold 1,500 cups of tea, the fixed cost would still be $600. And if you sold 2,000 cups of tea, the fixed cost would still be $600. So I will fill $600 in for each level. Now the variable cost is 11 cents per cup sold. That could cover the cost of the ingredients of the tea and the labor cost of the individual serving the tea, because that would vary depending on how many cups of tea you sell. So at the 1,000 level, I will take 11 cents, the cost per cup of tea, times 1,000, the number of cups sold. So the variable cost would be 110. At the 1,500 level, I will take 11 cents times 1,500, and my variable cost is 165. At the 2,000 level, I will take 11 cents times 2,000, and my variable cost is 220. It increases the more cups of tea I sell. Now, let's get the total cost by adding together the variable and fixed. So I'm going to add 600 plus 110. So at the 1,000 level, my total cost is 710. I'm going to add 600 plus 165, and my total cost at the 1,500 level is 765. And then I'm going to add 600 plus 220, and my total cost at the 2,000 level is $820. Now we want to get an average cost per cup of tea served. All I have to do is take the total cost and divide it by the number of cups of tea served. So at the 1,000 level, I will take the total cost of $710 and divide it by 1,000 cups of tea. So therefore, the cost of a cup of tea is 71 cents. If I sell 1,500 cups of tea, I will take the total cost of $765 and divide it by 1,500 cups of tea. And the cost per cup of tea actually goes down to 51 cents, and we'll talk about that in a moment. At the 2,000 level, I will take the total cost of $820 and divide it by 2,000 cups of tea. That gives you a cost of 41 cents per cup of tea. Now notice the more cups of tea you make, the cost per cup goes down. The variable cost doesn't change from 11 cents a cup, but that $600 fixed cost is being spread among more cups of tea. Look at it this way. If you rent an apartment for $1,000, but you get one other roommate, that spreads the cost down to $500. If there are 4 of you living in that apartment, that spreads the cost to $250. So it becomes less for each of you the more people that live there. Those fixed costs become less the more cups of tea you served. So in part 2, what happens to the cost of a cup of tea when more tea is served? The average cost of a cup of tea decreases as the number of cups of tea are served increases because the fixed cost is spread over more cups of tea. Okay, let's take a look at here sunk, opportunity, and differential cost. We are considering replacing an old delivery truck with a new truck that will get better gas mileage and need less maintenance. Another consideration is to use those funds to purchase 3 new copy machines instead of buying a new truck, and therefore we would keep the old truck. Determine the type of cost. Leave a blank if it doesn't apply. Differential cost means it's a cost that differs between the two alternatives. A sunk cost means it has already happened, so therefore it is irrelevant. We don't consider it in the decision making. And an opportunity cost, we talked about in the last video, is what you would give up to take on one opportunity over another. Okay, so let's take a look at the cost of gasoline. It did say if we bought the new truck, that would save us gas, so that would be a differential cost. The salary of the company president, the purchasing of a new truck or copy machines doesn't affect that at all, so we leave that blank. The cost of the old truck. The old truck has already been purchased, so therefore that is considered a sunk cost and is irrelevant in this decision making. However, the cost of a new truck would have to incur, so that way that would be a differential cost. How about rent for building of sales personnel? That is irrelevant here. It is not a differential, sunk, or opportunity cost, so we leave it blank. What about wages of the receptionist? Again, that's not affected by buying a truck or copy machines, so we leave that blank. Okay, what about the cost of maintaining the old truck? If we keep it as opposed to buying the new truck, that would be a differential cost. And then what about the benefits of the copy machine? If we decide to buy the copy machine instead of the truck, that would be an opportunity cost. Because what we'd be doing, we'd be giving up the truck in order to buy the copy machines. Thank you very much.